Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy, and you're reading with Jimmy. This is Jimmy's quick take 10-minute breakdown of the myth of Atlanta, subtitled by Jimmy Speed, Love, and the Price of Ungratefulness. Ready? Welcome, everybody. Now, what if I told you that there was a girl that could run faster than any man, and that she would only marry any man who could beat her in a race? Wait a minute, Jimmy, but if she was faster than every man, well, it's kind of impossible, isn't it? Yeah. Not only that, if he couldn't beat her, he'd be killed. Well, that's the story of Atlanta, a myth of speed, love, and ungratefulness. This is a story about fate, the gods, promises made, not kept. Do you believe in destiny? Welcome to Jimmy's Quick Take. This is a 10-minute that sums up the story of Atlanta, what you hopefully will read with me when you read The Myth of Atlanta, with Jimmy, and I'm Jimmy. So come on, let's take a run, shall we? Come on. Here we go. Come on, let's go. What's the story? Well, this is the world of mythology. Jimmy reads a lot of mythology on his website and YouTube channel. It's a fantastic world full of heroes, of gods, of adventures. And myths, don't forget, are how people interpreted what was going around them before science. Some people still make up myths, don't they? Anyway, we've got the main characters. Atlanta, she's the woman that breaks the norms of women. She runs like the wind. Hippomenes, he's one of the many, many men who fall in love with her. And Venus, the god of love. So what's the plot? Well, it's pretty simple. Venus, the narrator of this myth, being told by Ovid, it's complex, but read it with me, especially the analysis. Venus is narrating to Adonis the story of Atlanta, who has heard this prophecy. Pay attention. The prophecy to her was, "You do not need a man, Atlanta. For you, getting married is something to avoid. But nonetheless, you won't escape it. And while you are still alive, you will lose yourself." So she hears that prophecy, makes up this idea that I will only marry someone who can beat me in a race, otherwise you're going to die, because she doesn't want to get, the prophecy says, you got to avoid marriage. But she hatches that plot. But any case, beat her and she'll marry you, lose her and you'll die. So men try and they fail. And Hippomenes falls in love with her. Pay attention, praise to Venus. And then he receives three golden apples, which Venus says, use these apples to distract her when you're racing with her and you'll win. And he does. As he races with Atlanta, he throws an apple here, an apple there, and finally the third one heaves it off way to the side. She's distracted by these shiny objects, and he wins. And they marry, but they forget something. They forget to thank Venus. He forgets to thank Venus for arranging this, and so they're turned into lions. Ooh, fantastic. What's the deal? Well, myths were stories to explain how people saw the world. And you're going to be asking, well, what does that mean about seeing the world with three apples? Well, you read the story with me in the analysis, because every religion contains myths, but not every myth is part of a religion. So that's one of the questions you'll decide for yourself when you read the story of Atlanta. This myth begs the question, what is love and what is marriage? Those are the two questions that this myth examines, which, by the way, we're still examining these days. Would you agree with me? It's also about free will versus destiny. She heard that prophecy, and she tried to fulfill the prophecy by making up the race, beat me and I'll marry you, but you can't beat me because I'm faster than everybody. So, do you know about self-fulfilling prophecies? We're going to explore that in the analysis. It's also about the meaning of prayer. Hippomenes he prays, and his prayers are answered. But he doesn't thank Venus for answering his prayer. So are you thankful if your prayers, maybe you don't pray, maybe you don't, but that's okay. That's okay. You hope, maybe you don't hope. Well, that's sad, isn't it? It's also about deceit because Hippomenes uses tricks, those golden apples, to get what he wants. And it's all wrapped up in those golden apples. So, what are some of the themes in Atlanta? Gender. You think gender is a current thing, right? This is 2,500 years ago. Why should a man, what should a man be like? What should a woman be like? What should we be like? If you think you're the first one to think about gender, think again. Think again. Listen, this story is about a woman who is faster, outrun anybody, any man. Who would have thought? Competition. We're always in conflict, isn't there? We're always conflicted, right? We compete with others, we compete with ourselves. Do you take shortcuts like Hippomenes did with the apple? Do you lie? Do you cheat? He did cheat. He used the apples. Besides, what is fair? What does that mean? I played fair. You know what's going on with the NBA, right? With the gambling. Desire. This is a story about love and what someone will do for love because of love and the price they pay for making the wrong decisions to fulfill their love. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can make the wrong decisions. Look around you today within your own self, and it's about honor. There is no clear answer in the myth for right or wrong, but there are consequences to actions. There's always consequences to actions. Well, what if I don't act? There's consequences for not acting. And that's the point, forcing us to examine our own actions, lack of actions, and also defining words like honor, like words like belief, thinking things through. And finally, hubris. I love that word. You're full of hubris. What is hubris? It's excessive pride, right? Pride, excessive self-confidence. Nothing can stop me. Is that what you will see here underneath the actions? I want you to read the myth with me and you conclude the answers. So why does it still matter? 2,500 years ago, Jesus, that's an old story. Why the heck should I read it now? Well, the same tensions exist then as now. Achievement, promises made, prayer. These things aren't new to us. We read how others lead their lives and how to lead our own. Do you think that, like Atlanta, we are the best and then get distracted by shiny new objects? Did you ever lose your focus or are you always focused? This is a very important thing. We're going to examine things like self-fulfilling prophecies and eternal questions like, what is independence? What does it mean to be independent? I don't need anybody. Is that true? What is marriage? What is love? Can you define these words except each of us individually, right? Is there a universal definition of love? Huh. Romance is complicated. Love, hate, very powerful. I think there's no more powerful emotions than love or hate. What did Nietzsche say? The biggest, if you really want to insult somebody, don't hate them, just be indifferent. Indifference is the biggest insult. But these emotions like love and hate, they're very powerful. They're consuming, aren't they? They blind us from seeing things around us. And what are the consequences of love and hate? Sometimes you go nuts a little, don't you? It's hard to see the consequences when you're feeling these powerful emotions. And apples matter. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Remember that. Distractions are all around us. What distracts you from your goals? What kind of distractions do you use? To get what you want. There's a question. You see, myths contain all sorts of ideas with which to help you learn how to lead your life. Calling all readers. Calling all readers. That's Atlanta in 10 minutes, but I want you to read the myth with me. You're on my website now, readingwithjimmy.com, or you're on my YouTube channel, which is also readingwithjimmy.com. So, read this myth with me. I'll analyze it with you, and every image, every line we're going to look at this carefully worded Ovid myth. I'm going to leave you with this question. Is independence always worth the cost? And what is independence mean? Oh, I'm my own man, Jimmy. I'm my own woman. What does that mean? What does that cost? You think you're invulnerable when you're independent? What is independence? Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com. Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com. That's my email. I want you to do that. Let's have a race. Who can send me an email faster? Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com. Say it 10 times. YouTube website. I'm on both. Hundreds of hours of classical literature being read with you, to you, by me, Jimmy. And it's all convenient. Atlanta is divided up into two simple parts. Some of these things are longer, like Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, many chapters, right? But Atlanta is simple. I got a reading and I've got an analysis. So enjoy. Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com. Ready, set, go.